fair enough. Right, okay. Maui, what is your bad point?
Yeah, my bad point is that it's a
By the way, you do realize we
double-edged sword
we could even make that a meme for all the haters. It's like we even designed a show where Maui's asked to make a bad point. Like, go ahead, keep going.
This is a double-edged sword, and I want to know if are we talking about the other side of this later too? But either way,
No,
okay.
I didn't have anything.
I'll just get it out. I'll just get it out right here. Is that we all know that Simple is coming into Falcons at this point, and my bad point is just that Sun Pius was the best player on Falcons. Like that.
Okay.
That's what's criminal about this whole move is that for the entirety of 2024, with Sun Pius playing with Falcons, his worst rated event, and let me remind you, in multiple events, is Falcons coming in last place and just bombing out in the final series. And there's many reasons that somebody like Sun Pius would be inconsistent. His worst event this year is a 1.05 rating. Every single event this entire year has been above average. I'm not going to say he's like a top 5 opper in the world, but he's clearly good. He's clearly a good opper for this team. He has been actually the most consistent player for them in a dupreeh who people were hyping up to get onto Falcons and everything like that. Like, they have found no success with him. He's even been streaky on that team himself. Magisk is a guy that I still rate pretty highly as an individual. I've seen what he does with very few resources in a late round situation, like an anchoring position, but even he's been inconsistent. Modern all over the place. I feel like on certain maps he's great, on other maps he's just fraudulent. And Snappy, let's not even get started on that. But Sun Pius has been by and large the best player on Falcons this year. He was definitely the last person I would have even considered replacing, but this opportunity came for Falcons that was too hard to pass up with Simple on the market and then wanting more firepower. And what like that is one of the few moves, if you're Falcons, where you have the budget to get Simple on loan. You need to take a risk in a certain direction. And so in a weird way, I don't even necessarily blame the GMing from Falcons on this one, because I feel like they needed to do something. But I do feel like Sun Pius is now without a team for the major cycle when it's so obvious that he should be competing on a team. And I'll just throw out like one easy name right now would be Dexter on Heroic. Like, he hasn't really seeded in to be as strong as I would have expected. And Sun Pius has just been flat out a better opper, so he's not playing somewhere like there. Or really, he could probably improve a couple teams in the top 15, top 20. And there's no reason that he should be on the bench when in all honesty, if you looked at like dupreeh and Modern right now, like, I don't think they would get a gig as easily as Sun Pius, but it's just a shame that that's the move that Falcons went with, because Sun Pius he's been a good player. He has not been the problem for this Falcons team.
Yeah, and what I've heard as well about Sun Pius is that, well, let's start with Falcons actually. So I think there's a reason that Simple is coming on loan, and I think that the Falcons are looking for an AWPer for 2025.
Imagine that. So what if there was somebody other good AWPer they could possibly get if they didn't? Oh, never mind. Keep on. My bad. I was just thinking of some other names that might be out there.
Yeah. So that's the reason behind the loan, and I think Sun Pius. I've heard from sources close to me that when he was supposed to be cut from ENCE at IEM Dallas, which they won, I think there were some problems, attitude problems.
I heard he was spicy behind the scenes,
Yeah, he was like difficult to work with, I would say. And this is why I heard this at Blast. And it kind of then made sense with the performance that he showed at Blast. Maybe he already knew that he's being replaced by Simple. Obviously, Simple was tweeting it or like hinting it on Telegram. Maybe that's the whole reason why he was kind of, I don't know, not okay with it. And then he was, I don't want to say throwing the game or tanking the game, but he was definitely not having that spark anymore that is needed from the AWPer to like, I want to win this game. And he was just lacking it. I feel like that's again, like sources, there are the rumors, but also when it comes to his future, I think it's actually kind of making sense, obviously, to reunite in Heroic, but also come back to Spain. Alex is as well off the nip, and I know Maui, you're loving the guy, but I mean there are maybe some narratives that creating a top Spanish team might be on the cards here, especially with So being in top 10 right now, and Portugal and Spain has like
they can share the language, I believe.
They don't share the language. They have similar language.
It's like
they have
like
always
I think it's like 80% similar though, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. The thing is, like, there was always a derby between Portugal and Spain
Okay.
when it comes to Counter-Strike.
Oh,
They
that's what
always
that's
want
going to make him want to make a Spanish team since Portugal's on the right. I see.
That's
Okay, right,
one
okay.
to
Nice.
they're seeing that So is actually they were beating
Right.
them before, and So made it
Okay.
into top 10. Let's go back
Yeah.
in Spain. Let's create a top 10 team. That might be another angle to look at because I don't know how available he's going to be
Okay.
in terms of heroic. But obviously, Dexter, I think Sampaio coming in for Dexter would be an obvious improvement. But yeah, as I said, there might be some bad blood going on from that Dallas time back in the day from ENCE.
I'll start at the end there, right? On the thing about Dexter, how dare you all take my beloved Dexter? He barely, by the way, he's only had something mental like 2 months of actual play in the fucking game. Like, but you're all acting like he played all of CS2 and he just shit at the game. Like, first of all, for someone who played like 2 or 3 months or something, he's not bad. Like, he's actually had some fucking good performances too. Secondly, I'll just throw this out there. If he has to be replaced in Heroic, okay, you know what? As you see from how I talk about the Heroic admins, I'm going to be, by the way, Heroic's the best team out of the tournament along with Mongols. In theory, I'm going to have to praise them, so I'll say now, fuck Heroic. I think they're Og's dog shit. I'm going to be absolutely all over their team if they do shit at that event. I'm going to be fucking roasting. Oh, that Heroic admin, haha, I'm doing memes. Watch me do memes on the desk, motherfucker. That's right. Again, that Finnish guy, tap, Thorin, later fucking... I don't even know, whatever the fuck, that's actually a real Finnish name. I had to come up with off the top of the head there. It's hard. No one knows them all. It's all Moomin language, innit? No one fucking knows it, mate. So, basically, if he has to be removed from Heroic, I'm okay with that. Here's why. Because right now, there's a million fucking Russian teams, and tell you what, he'd fucking dominate in one of those. So he can go to one of those two. You know what, maybe he just plays in Cloud9 next to something like that. We can sort it out. It's okay. Hit the line. We'll make it work. Then also... on this actual topic, though, the Sampaio one, because I'm going to do the Sampaio side first. I agree. What I can't handle about this is actually what tilts me. What tilts me in CS is what's called narrative whiplash. The joke is that sounds like a show I would make, like the title of a show. Then coming new on LFN, narrative whiplash with Thorin. But actually, it's what I hate the most, because here's the problem, right? I'm not going to be gaslit or retconned. You all have read Reddit and HLTV. Before this move... their take was Sampaio is shit and washed in CS2. Everyone on Falcon sucks was the take. That was the take. What they used to do is maybe they'd do a Maui take and go, I still sort of believe Magus could make it if he can get to the next lineup, you know. But everyone's like, Snappy shit at calling. Dupree, look, they liked him at the beginning, but I noticed they went off that pretty quickly. Everyone thinks Madden shit just because of the roles he does, because they're bozos who don't know the fucking game. Obviously, and then when it comes to Sampaio, I think a lot of people were just like, he's not that good, because all they remember is him on like stage in CSGO, like fucking out Open Zewu and shit like that over and over again, which obviously doesn't happen now. He's not even bloody on stage half the time. But I think you can tell people didn't watch Falcons games, because there's a reason why they would have so many maps that were super close against like the top 10, by the way. They didn't win them because they're not a good team, but Sampaio was the reason why. Like, actually, I agree with you, Maui. He's like a top 10 AWPer. He's not a top 5, and the problem is, look, in CS, people only give a fuck about the top 5 because the gun isn't as powerful as it was before. It doesn't dominate the game. But I always thought he was good, so I can't handle it. Now everyone's suddenly the biggest Sampaio fan ever. Everyone hated on Falcons, said the lineup shit, they should replace everyone. But now, because you're all right, statistically he is the best, it's inconceivable he could ever be removed. And here's the problem I have. I said this in my video. I agree, right this second. The second Simple walks in, Sampaio is probably the better AWPer. But the joke is, it's Simple, bro. If there's anyone has literally defied like every aspect of the game and what esports means, it is Simple. I actually think, if you don't know, I've followed all of esports for like, at this point in time, about almost like 28 years or something mad. He is literally, I think, the best player I've ever seen in any game ever. Like, the only people I can put on his level are people like Korean StarCraft players that played like 14 hours a day or some shit like that. Because even Quake players, remember, that game might be hard, but they play like 100 people over and over again every tournament. Simple had to play millions of people. That's who was competing to beat him in the game over all those years. And he's the only person where he never got taken out of the game. The game didn't forget Simple. Simple forgot the game because he had all shit going on in his life. And then Na'Vi had all sorts of drama going on. And even at the end, he tried to give it a go. Remember, with the international lineup, he just didn't like the way it went. And they went into a new game. So he said, I'm peacing out. I'm not doing it for now. I've told the story in the past. I think he was going to come back after the major. I think that's why he was there. I think it was going to be announced when they got banged in the quarters or whatever, or semis. Like, Simple's back. It's okay, guys. We've kicked that wonderful guy you don't like, or him as a rifler, whichever angle he wanted to go with. So all I'll say is this. I get it. It's possible this could fail and Sampaio could be the better pick. But the difference is the upside is crazy if it works. And if it works, everyone will look so silly in a year from now saying we should have kept Sampaio. Like, it will just look like such an ass. I'm even going to say, I think there's a world where one day Narvi stops winning and then they go, did we really let Simple walk out the door and go to another fucking team that's now kicking our head in? So I think, like, I just can't handle the whiplash of that. Then also, there's the whole thing that people keep missing this detail. This is one thing I'm getting really bored of in esports. People don't read. They don't read the news posts. They read the headline. They go, Simple joining Falcons. Some of them don't even know it was on loan. Some think he's just joined Falcon. Oh my God, they're signing Nico. Hasn't happened yet, by the way. And Simple. And then, fuck, what if they had Morrissey and Jim Fat? And then Kicksnap. And then, bro, he's joining on loan. That's genius, by the way. That means you didn't pay 3 million. Think about this. Every other team, this is where Kassad's right. People can only conceive of people paying a pure buyout of the biggest amount. They can never conceive of a structured deal with bonuses, or you tell the team, I'll sign him for 2 million, but if he doesn't make any majors, 500,000 doesn't go to, you can do all sorts of clever business things that they do in sports. Well, similarly, everyone thought the only option was, well, he's never coming back because who's going to pay 3 million? Well, Falcons isn't. What they're doing, like geniuses, is they're going to lease it. They're going to see what the car's like before they buy. They're going to lease him. By the way, I imagine for a lot of money, but not $3 million. They're going to lease him for a major cycle. Genius, by the way. If it doesn't work out for a major, you just go, see ya. Oh, you know what? It's ran out and we're going to be talking to other people now. Perfect. You get to essentially not commit long-term to this deal with, by the way, yes, one of the most difficult to work with players in the history of Counter-Strike. But the joke is, it's worth it because then he becomes one of the most difficult players to work with for the fucking opponent. Hence why the upside is there. And also, then after all that, if it works, maybe you do buy him. But now you're so much more confident in putting those millions of dollars in there. Then I also put Stiko undercut this one. Sadly, he's smart, so he actually saw this angle. Guys, think it through. It's even more genius since he's coming back as AWPer. What we're going to find is, I said this in my video, but guys, it's way better he comes back as AWPer than Rifler, because as Rifler, you can hide. You can pad your stats. As the AWPer, there's no fucking... there's no blame F of AWPers if you all hate blame F. I think he's mega, but there's no way... James tries, but it's only a Serbian guy fucking with the formula that allows that to look good. The eye test never checks out for people like James when they bait. Like, when you bait with an AWP, it looks utterly terrible. When you get the gun saved for you and you bait, it looks terrible. When you buy a glass cannon, it looks terrible if you're not Simple. When Simple plays, you know he isn't going to play like that. He's going to be simple and be aggressive. And so you'll know within 2 months if he can do it or not. And if he starts doing it, you'll go, holy shit, this is the best move ever. But that's the genius part Stiko just said there. Imagine this world, Maui. Imagine it doesn't work out at the major and they don't want to commit to Simple. And Nico goes, okay, I'm willing to join the team, signs his contract, he joins. Oh, if only there was an AWPer I played with recently that we could bring over too. It's right there. You just bring Morrissey, don't you? That's when you do Morrissey move. But here's the other thing. In that scenario, like, it'll make sense on both ends, and you won't ever have the regret if you're Falcons of we could have had Simple. You'll know that, like, oh, it wasn't worth it. I tried it. We had him for a few months. We gave him like a little bit of time. He had to practice, all the rest of it. So I actually think that part's genius. I think that was really well done. Yeah, I actually think this is... I agree with your point, by the way. Sampaio was the best on that team. I don't think he deserved to be caught in isolation. But the problem is, literally, you know how Cadian said that line? Oh, I'd only give up the AWP for 4 people. Well, I'd only kick Sampaio for 4 or 5 people. Yeah. The problem is, one of them's coming in. And he's coming in, try before you buy. If it doesn't work, we just get an even better AWPer. So I think that angle actually sort of works out. So I agree with you. I don't think it's bad. By the way, if you are Sampaio on the Stiko thing, we'll just address that quickly. I know what you mean, Stiko. It would be cool to have like a Spanish team. Obviously, he's really good. You could do it. You could have the national... Here's the only problem, though. What I think I know about Sampaio, what I imagine I perceive about his personality, I don't think he wants a Spanish salary to play in a Spanish team. I believe he wants the moolah. So I think he's going to go to a team international personally because I think he wants to get paid 10 to 20k. I don't think he wants to chill. And by the way, he obviously just, that's one thing I'll say I'm sorry for him is he did just lose that massive Falcons fucking money. Like you said, the heroic angle's a good one. Reunite with Saw. It hasn't worked so far with Dexter. That's a player I would upgrade Dexter for potentially because you imagine it would work immediately. Yeah, there we go. Right. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.